So in this all-in-one video, I will show you 5 ultimate hacks to master Zapier Copilot and save a lot of time. And this material you will see in a moment is a part of my Zapier masterclass. So I will put the link in the description of this video. And you can go ahead and check out my AA community where you will find this course and other 12 courses out there. So you can enroll and actually unlock 12 courses at once. However, with all that being said, let's get into the video. So the first one, very interesting and very helpful use case of the Zapier Copilot is to ask about any additional steps we can add to our Zaps, to actually improve them or even make them just better. For this case, we can go over to the left bottom corner and here click on the Copilot and type something like, what additional steps can I add to my Zap to make it even better? We can send it and see what our Copilot will say. So, to enhance your Zap, consider adding a step to log the conversation details in Google Sheets for record keeping or analysis. So, for this case, I can go over and please add for me this action. So, actually, we can have the real-time conversation with our Copilot, and there, just look at it. We've got create the spreadsheet row, we can add it, and there even it's set up for us the first one step of this one Zap. So definitely it is very worth to actually ask about any additional steps that we can include in our Zap to make it even better or just get the inspiration for our further work. The second one use case which is very helpful is to ask actually about any unnecessary steps within our Zaps. So mostly when we have very advanced automations and we have a lot of different steps, sometimes we may have the steps that are not very important or there's something wrong with them. So we can simply ask, which steps in this Zap are unnecessary? So we can simply ask this question and there just wait for the response. And yeah, we've got it. So, for example, if the looping step, step 5 or the Google Docs step doesn't serve a specific purpose in your workflow, they could be candidates for removal. So yeah, definitely it properly suggested the adjustments that we need to apply. So remove these 2 steps. So again, this is very helpful when you have, for example, very complex Zaps or you are struggling. If this step, for instance, so the Google Docs is at the place, is it really important for my Zap? You can go overhead to the Copilot and ask this exact question. Another case when we can use our Zapier Copilot is actually when we would like to ask about any better alternatives for some steps. For instance, let's say I've got the Gmail. Nevertheless, I've got an idea to send the information from the ChatGPT to wider audience. So I can simply type, I would like to send the data from ChatGPT to wider audience. Please suggest me any better alternatives for step number 3 for this case. So I'm just asking what else I can provide inside here. So yeah, we've got the Slack. I can go over ahead and type great. Any others? Let's see. So here what we'll have, TweetPic. So yeah, this is definitely working. We can go over ahead and, for instance, send a Slack message and it replaced our Gmail. So we can, for example, again, anytime when we want to, for instance, create better automation, just ask for any better alternatives for some step. If, for instance, we are struggling to choose or even we don't know what to exactly choose. The fourth use case will be all about the filters. So we'll ask our Copilot which filters we should apply for the specific circumstances. So for this case, I can type, I would like only to send an email back to my customer whenever the response from ChatGPT contains above 200 characters. Suggest for me specific conditions. So yeah, let's see. So we can add the step and see what we'll have inside. So there, I can even ask, which condition I can pick for this case. We've got some problems, however, this is the proof that not every time at the first try we'll receive our response. So again, I can go over and provide the answer in the other form. So we've got the data, so set the condition to only continue if the ChatGPT response length is greater than 200 characters. So yeah, it kind of worked because here we've got greater than. Use the output length from step 2 to configure this. So yeah, I can say it worked, and definitely it is useful whenever you're struggling to choose the specific like the condition for your filter, because sometimes it can be very overwhelming. When you have very advanced cases, you can have, for example, some problems with choosing the right filter. So for this case, definitely you can go over and ask the Copilot about that. The last but not least use case is to ask about overall improving our Zap, because sometimes we are creating very advanced steps, a lot of them, and there, for example, it could be done, like 10 steps could be replaced with the 5 steps, for example. So it is useful to ask our Copilot about the overall kind of the review of our Zap and how we can improve it. So overall, I added some random steps to my Zap. And now I can go over and convey my feelings. So I feel like this Zap is very messy. Please help me to improve it and make it the best. So let's see what will happen. And we've got the important question from the Copilot. So could you please describe the overall workflow or goal you want to achieve with this Zap? So I can go over ahead and type. Firstly, I would like to trigger the automation whenever I receive any email. Then I would like to summarize it with ChatGPT. Then send the email to the customer on Gmail, and at the end send the Slack message. So now with this information, we can go ahead and see what should be exactly inside. So here we've got 4 steps that are necessary to accomplish my goals. And yeah, we don't have very unnecessary steps. So simply let's say that we've got, for example, 20 steps within your Zap. And yes, for you, they can be okay. Nevertheless, you can ask the Copilot to preview them, and then maybe you will get some additional insights of what you can add, what you can remove, or even how to overall just make the better automation, which is very helpful in cases when you have a lot of different steps and you're not sure about if they are correct or not.